Hey gang, it's been a few weeks, but welcome back to Sekiro, where all your hopes and dreams go to die. I do want to point out that at this point in time I have platinumed Sekiro, so if you want a lore video, just let me know and I'll probably cook something up. When we left off, I had just beaten Genichiro. A lot of plot progression happens at this point. So, Lord Kuro tells us that he wants to sever the ties to immortality, and we decide to help him. In order to sever immortality, we'll need the dragon's gracious gift of tears. And in order to get that, we have to get to the fountain.
Hell no, man. What the fuck?
First, we have to go get a flower, and the flower is guarded by a giant monkey. But before that, I had to deal with this lady. The amount of pure, unfiltered rage I felt during this fight was unmatched. In fact, I don't think I've ever been this mad. In these trying times of stress, a virtuous man will take a deep breath and learn from his mistakes. I, on the other hand, looked around the room, hoping, praying for something to ram my hand into. And I just so happened to find what appeared to be an empty box. Unfortunately, it was not empty, and I bruised my hand.
Let's go! I'm sick of her ass!
At long last, the deed was done, and after 25 seconds of teabagging, I was on my way. I was now just about to fight the big monkey, and I decided, why don't I go take care of that snake girl's sister, huh? I had been dreading this fight, but it appears my hour or so of experience had come in handy. Now that that was done, it was time to fight the guardian ape.
I like you, and I want you. Now we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
Literally almost got taken out by actual shit. Okay. This is one of those fights that I actually really love about the game, and I enjoyed every time I went through another playthrough. An ape cursed with immortality that you have to go up against just to be able to sever immortality. But yada yada yada, lore, you're here to see me die, aren't you? I love this boss and I always will. In my first playthrough, I was convinced he was dead, but I didn't even teabag. I was so in love with the fight that I just felt a little sad that it had to end that way. But now I know better, and I decided to prepare a little more. Because he's not dead. Not yet, at least. My guide quite literally picks up his own head and begins a second phase. One with entirely new moves and entirely new things to look out for. Not to mention the satisfying clanks of my parries. Fun fact, that scream builds up something called terror, which one-shots you. Moment of silence for Monkey. I snagged the flower that Kuro asked for and I was on my way. Then I found Juzo the drunkard's brother and I gave him a little taste of what his brother got. Except for Tokujiro the glutton here, I took his posture instead of his health. No moment of silence for this guy, he gets teabagged. Now, we're gonna talk about this bastard. I just about lost my mind during this boss fight. To make things worse, I tried to vent to a friend about how hard this fight was for me, and he told me it was the easiest in the entire game for him. So, I kinda lost it. For whatever reason, the movesets just wouldn't fucking click. Eventually, however, it did click. My parries were landing. My Mariki counters were countering. It was fantastic. And with a little help from
Some dirt in your eye.
I eventually got it done.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my god.
Oh my god!
You can't even comprehend the amount of teabagging that was done after this fight. It takes a lot to make a man cry, but I was on the verge of tears, and that's for sure. So before I get to the next part, I should probably mention that this whole video that you're watching right now, all of it was recorded on my PlayStation without internet, and for some reason, some of the clips just wouldn't save. I actually have the Mortal Blade here. You can see it on my back, it's the red one. But all the steps that it took for me to get it, I don't have that. Anyways, moving on. After you get all the ingredients necessary to reach the Fountainhead Palace, all of the graces that you reached inside the Ashina Castle are blocked out. And that's because the owl, our father, is at the top of the castle. He wants Kuro's power of immortality to himself. And these idiots are guarding the only grace close to where I have to fight him. What you just saw was a new technique I earned that lets me turn people into my puppets if I stealth blow them. So he can help me fight this guy. The only problem is our hits still hurt each other, so he can kill me. And I can kill him. Which, as I'm sure you can imagine, isn't very useful in a battle.
I think that's all for tonight, ladies.
That death was absolutely disrespectful. But me and my new friend, Tom Hiddlesticks, got the job done. And there she is, the beaut, the grace I wanted so I could be closer to the boss that I struggled for about an hour for just to get. I'll spare you the details of the owl fight, but just know it took me way too long. But I did learn his movesets, and when I did, he was a goner. When I visited my favorite character again, he asked about the Mortal Blade, and then requested that I take his life with it. And I was, of course, taken aback by it, and I didn't want to, but... It was clear that it wasn't the gift that I viewed it as. To him, it was a curse. Just like the Guardian Ape, it seemed like he was cursed with immortality as well, and I don't know, I felt for him. He's one of my favorite characters, so it's gonna be sad to see him go, but in a way it seems kinda right.
追い腹を切れなんだ無念。ようやく覚悟は変わらぬか。ああ、そこもとに切られたいのだ。承知。さあやれい。さらば。
He drops something called the Hidden Tooth, which gives you the ability to die once, but not have a restraint on how many more times you can revive after. And I end up not using it that much, but I still put it into my farthest right inventory slot just to keep a part of him with me, you know? Gotta bring a part of my boy Hanbei along for the journey. I was now at the Fountainhead Palace, and the first boss is the true corrupted monk, but with the power of previous knowledge and a little bit more
Dirt in your eye.
this fight ended up being kind of a breeze. She didn't deserve immortality anyways. Moving on. I found and beat the Divine Dragon into submission and got his tears. And with Ishin lying dying at her feet, Emma gives us the key to where Kuro is running.
一心様、何があった。
一心様は病にて見まかられました。
Before I finished my first playthrough, I went and I beat the Demon of Hatred. And it's only one of my favorite bosses because I beat it in the first place. And because of the lore, and that's pretty much it. In order to beat the Demon of Hatred, I needed the Malcontent Ring, which I could only get from beating this Shimichin warrior, and I'm pretty sure that's how that's said. But after finding out that I could beat one of these, I decided to beat the other one too. Malcontent's Ring. Ceremonial Tonto. And then I went back and beat the Demon of Hatred, which is really just the sculptor overtaken by the Demon of Hatred. And if you need me to explain that, I could do so in a lore video. If you don't want the ending spoiled for you, I'd suggest you leave now. But this is the ending that I got first. You get the Divine Dragon Tears and you give them to Kuro, and then you sever the ties of immortality. It's a sad ending where you end up having to kill Kuro, but I think it's the canon ending. In this ending, now without purpose, you become the sculptor, waiting for another to come along, seeking strength. Another ending requires you fight your father in his own memories.
Oh, yes!
さらば、せがれに破れるか。
This shows a bit of his inner feelings about the situation. Now in this ending, you give him the dragon tears, and you take his place, severing immortality using your own life.
人として生きてくだされ。
A pretty sad and moving ending. I used this as my last ending because it seemed a lot more final, I guess. And then there's the Shura ending, where Kuro asks you to follow him and then walks slower than my brain without coffee. So you kill Emma.
Shura.
And then Ishin too, just to show him who's boss.
Sekiro よ。ってやれぬか。
違う。そなたは。そなたはシュラではない。
Don't worry, it was all to teach Kuro a lesson. Walk faster. And then there's my favorite ending, where you introduce Lord Kuro to the Divine Child and they become a thing. A nice little relationship. She saves him. And then together, we all set off to go bring the dragon heritage back to its original people in the West.
参りましょう。西に神なる竜の故郷に。
How did I fit the back half of this game and 3+ endings into the end of this video? Got no clue. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, oh well, I guess. See you in the next video in a couple weeks, who knows.